Okay, so why would we want these? What makes these things so important? Of course, I'm talking about Dartanbeck's dynamic animation pose morphs. Okay, and let's just do a quick example here. To keep things simple, I think I will go with an in-place walk cycle. So let's go with animations, and I just converted some from Genesis 8 from Havana Labara. So let's go with, well, these have, okay, so let's just grab one of these, and we're going to say yes, get the extra keyframes out of there. All right. Uh, I mean, add the extra keyframes. Okay, now this is what we've got. It's walking in place. So we'll just walk in place. Now, it's a great walk cycle. All of the ones that Havana Labara give are really good. So, um, but where the issue comes in is what if we want something specific? Okay, and but we still want to use motion captures. We don't have access to our own mocap studio. Blah 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 blah. All this different stuff. Uh, this is what makes animating in Daz Studio much more possible and a lot more fun. So, okay, if we look at our pose controls, in fact, let's just close this part out. Oops, close this part out. And we're just going to look under pose controls and let's just start with the torso. If we, now this is one of the custom that, all of these ones that have Anim Plus on here are the uh, custom dials that I've created. Now these spine ones are so that you can actually individually adjust these without, it'll stay that way across the whole animation. It doesn't, I'll just undo that. It, you know, if we select spine one, there's keyframes on every single one, okay? So rather than having to grab a bunch of them and delete them or go into the graph editor and play with them in there, what we can do instead is open up our own hierarchy of keyframes under pose controls, okay? And well, let's just leave it like this so we can always see them. But now for the broad changes that we want to make all the way across the entire animation, I have like posture shifts. You can change how the posture is. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to change it like that. And for the arms, uh, I always just select arms because I like to use the ones that come with it and the ones that don't together in one line. But you can do it however you see fit. Okay, so I want the shoulders back, and that's going to bring the arms forward, but let's go ahead and shrug them just a little bit. Okay, and now we can bring the arms back. And how are they? See, we can also twist them in either direction. Maybe elevate them just a little bit, which is useful if you're going to do dynamic clothing. But then we also have individual um, dials. This is for both forearms together, and we can do individual bends. And literally, what these are is it's just the same thing as what you can do right here, except that these are already filled with keyframes. And that's going to happen every time you load in an animation. So what I propose is that instead of doing that, we edit our motion captures right in the pose controls category. Okay, so we can just close up the whole hierarchy, and I'm just going to undo a couple of things. I don't, well, okay, I am going to put that forearms both twist back in there, and maybe even offer them just a little bit of a bend. Let's see, forearms both bend. I changed my mind. And I'm just going to let's let's do that, and then we'll go like that. Okay, now let's see. For starters, let's go back in here and let's just bend that just a little bit. Okay, great. Now we get into the middle here. Now is where we're going to make use of the fact that we have such a long cycle. All right, so we're going to go. I'm not seeing something. Oh, because they're up at the top. Okay, so we're going to twist and go side to side. And then we're going to do the same with the neck. To head, neck, twist, and side. And while we're at it, we're going to take the eyes and we're going to look back. And then we're going to come back a little bit more than a second. And we're going to head back to the torso and we're going to zero these guys out. But we're not going to zero out the neck yet. We're going to do that more like in here. And the eyes will come back in here. And we'll just zero that out. Then we'll come to here and let's say the eyes should start turning just a little bit. And here, the neck should be going a little bit more. With a little bit more eyes. Okay, let's just see what we've got. So that's pretty cool. And then we're going to come to 230 here, and we're going to we're not going to worry about the eyes and the neck yet. We're going to just do the torso, and what we're going to do is we're going to keep it right around where it was. It doesn't have to be. There we go. And so that we can come to 270 here and zero that stuff out. And now what we have between the two torso changes is a TCB interpolation, and we may want to make that linear. Well, let's check it out. Oh, I'm liking the TCB. Okay, so then here I think I'm going to take the head, the neck, and just for kicks, do something like that. And back in here somewhere, I want to get that bend back to zero. Might as well just go right back here because it's, you know, I'm actually just going to leave it. The gradual bend is doing just fine. So, where did I do that? I was just scrubbing through. All I have to do is open this up and look at neck, and right there is where I did that. So then the torso comes back around. The eyes are still going to stay back there. No, no, no. Let's change that. Let's undo that right here. Those eyes are still going to be doing that. And then right here, actually, right in here is where we'll get the neck to catch back up with the torso. It's, where am I? There we are. And then we can just zero this stuff out. Possibly not the bend. We're going to keep the bend there. And before it makes that transition, um, right here is where I'm going to have the eyes go that way. And here we'll straighten them out. Okay, so that's the way I work with motion capture to do um, smooth animations that are different than anything. And if you see right in here, what I really need to do, because of that right there, I need to come to arms and let's twist, not the forearm, we want the whole arm. Let's twist that forearm out a little bit. And it's okay to make it gradual, but I think right back in here is where I'm going to, what I do is, since I have them both twisted, oh, right here, I just bring it back to 0 and I just match it back up with this one. So just go like that. Now the reason that these two don't have the negative 0.16 labeled in them is because instead of going into uh, the uh, hierarchy and dragging both of these into the property hierarchy, instead of having this one control both of these dials, this one is completely separate from these two. So it's not a link to these two. Whereas some of them where I do a both kind of thing, it's actually a link. And see this one too. Um, I made this separately from these, and I just Control Z that. Okay, so let's get back to our animation. We come back, and now we can maybe even twist it a little more. Debating possibly also um, bringing that one back. And then just coming back to say here, whatever, and we'll just match it back up with its counterpart. Close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we are. And so now it holds back just that little bit more. And right around here, I am going to catch these back up with one another. And then I am also going to catch these back up with one another. I'll just go 0. Okay. All right, so let's just see what we've got there. Now the beauty of this is that here's our keyframes. If we actually close the pose controls, this is all of the keyframes that we've added. And I'm not liking that I individualized that arm back for that left one. So I'm just going to come in here, find arms, front, back, left, and I'm just going to omit those. And it's just that easy. It's fast, it's easy, and it's very effective. Now, in addition to that, this particular motion capture doesn't do it, but we get all kinds of different motion captures for all kinds of different things. Now, another helpful thing I'd like to show here. Let's just look at the ones that I've created here. These are these are all meant to help us get the feet where they need to go. So you may be able to come here and then bend the toes. Okay, let's undo both of those. And another thing is if you're wearing heels and it's a flat foot animation. Here's one heels and here's another heels. Okay, and some of these things are available right in your regular feet here. But the but uh, or if you select the foot itself. But the problem with with actually using those dials is that those are the ones that are getting written to with your data. So by having them as their individual morphs, um, under pose controls right in here, that's what gives you your power. Okay, because now let's just say that it's a conversion and it didn't convert just quite right. You can roll the feet. You can go side to side with them. And now I'm doing for both, but if you'll notice, you can do one foot at a time, just in case that's all you need, or if that's what's important. Okay. Okay, and now with Genesis 9, DAZ 3D did add an awful lot of nice new pose dials that we can use. So that's very helpful. Okay, and then for hands, we've got, let's just go to the custom ones that I've added. We can bend them both. We can side by side them. And that's it for now. What did I do for the head? Anything? I did not do anything for the head, but for the neck, oh, I didn't do anything for the neck yet either. Um, what I did with Genesis 8 is, and I'll do it for 9. I'm just not done yet. Is I add one for each individual joint, so that you can fine tune adjust your posture of the neck. Okay. One thing about posture here is you want to be careful not to animate that too much. It looks like it's going to be cool to do that, but it ends up looking really pretty wonky in the video. You can see it in some of my videos on YouTube where I did that, and it's not it's not really good. Okay, and then I was talking about facial musculature. And right now I only have two in here for Genesis 9, but like this is a series of morphs, and I was having a hard time with these lips getting creases in them. So after I created the smile, I used shaping morphs to do away with the creases as much as I could, without spending too much time. And And so I included that in here too. So that just automatically gets applied with the smile. And then uh, like Rosie 9 will normally normally has her mouth just slightly open as a like a default expression. Um, and then you can always close that, and there we go. What else is there in here? Yeah, but that's what I got done so far, and yeah, I hope that helps explain why I've made these controls. Ciao.